welcome to Community Homeworks class this evening. We have some of our participants who are going to share some of the things they do to get ready for the upcoming holidays. If you have anything you would like to share, please type it in the comments. Or if you have any questions, you can put those in that same area. We would like to remind you that we are a nonprofit organization and do rely on donations. And if you would like to send us one at this holiday time, the information on how to do that will scroll across the bottom of your screen. I keep trying to point at it. Also, if you have any questions, if you watch this at a later date, feel free to type them in. We will take a look at them and try to get back to you with answers. Again, tonight we are using some of our participants to give us some holiday ideas, and we would love to hear from you also. I'm going to introduce the group. First is Emily and Edith. There they are. And the baby, whose name I don't know, I guess. And so hopefully both of them will have some ideas to share. The next is Angie and Lindy. Yay! And my friend and former participant, Susanna. So tonight we will show you around their houses if they so choose, or just share ideas, or maybe just a project in front of them. I have no idea what any of them have to share. This is kind of our open mic night. So I'm going to, I think, start with Susanna. And would you like to show us around where you are?
Sure. Let me flip the camera, and we will start with the Christmas tree, because that is the best part, right? So here's the Christmas tree. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Does it have a theme? I can't see that.
Yeah, actually, it's really cool. It's got these snowball ornaments are actually like sweater on a ball.
Oh, cool.
Like someone knit them. And then there's a cool like furry one here. So it's got some really cute different ornaments on it. Do you want me to continue to a different spot, or do you want to go around?
No, let's go to Angie, because I can see her Christmas tree behind her. So okay. let's take a look at your tree, Angie.
So I had, growing up, I had traditions with my family, but Lindy will be 2 in February, and so I have the opportunity to kind of like make our own traditions. So this Christmas tree has some like random ornaments from my parents and my grandparents. But then there's also like, baby's first Christmas ornament. There's an ornament that's made from like Lindy's hand and footprints. We have Lindy's first quarantine pandemic Christmas ornaments. And so I hope to be able to add like different themed ornaments throughout the years. Hopefully they're not all pandemic related.
I know that must have been really hard, along with the fact that she wasn't feeling real well last Christmas. So yeah. You kind of had a double whammy to deal with last year. I don't know which I like better, themed trees or trees like that. I have a tree like that I have ornaments from my grandparents on it. So how about you, Emily? What would you like to share?
We actually don't have our tree up. We traditionally have gone and cut a tree on my birthday, which is December 1st. But this year has been a little different. Actually, in our house, we kind of have a series of holidays that lead up to Christmas, and we actually really celebrate Advent as a family too. And one thing that we've started doing last year, because we decided, sorry, my baby's not so excited, because we decided, man, we really need some more light, as we started hanging up Advent stars in our windows. And I like to have them up by my birthday, like by the first week of Advent. But so far I only have one. So we're getting there. We're in progress.
Okay, so
So
can you show us closer so we can
I am
see
so
how
here.
it's made? And
How do I flip the camera around, people? I'm sorry.
Go to Cam, Mike.
Okay. Yep. You're right. Sorry. Facing back. So
there you go.
it is a paper lantern. Sometimes people have them outside and they're called Moravian stars, and they're kind of a three-dimensional six-pointed star. These are paper lanterns that have a cord. And I also have some more starlights that I put in the inside of the window, which I thought I carefully put away, but I still have yet to put my hand on them. So we have one. We have one for each of our downstairs windows.
Of the big ones?
Yep.
So then it's more than just the 4 weeks of Advent, I would assume.
No, so we leave them up for Christmas too. We just keep adding.
Okay, so there's just lots of stars, not just four for
Oh
Advent.
no, it's it doesn't have anything to do with like the 4 weeks or anything. It's just anticipatory, sharing light. It's really common in a lot of European countries to have lamps in your windows, especially at the darkest time of the year. Because especially like even north of England, it's dark, by 3 and 4 p.m. So people share the light that they have in their homes with the street.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the truly ancient druids and stuff they thought the world was coming to an end.
Yeah, no, so it is a time of rebirth. So the other thing that our family does that is kind of not necessarily unique to us, but most Americans, is we celebrate Sinterklaasdag, which is St. Nicholas Day. And our children put shoes out like kids do in the Netherlands, and they get a surprise from St. Nicholas on that day. And then another important family tradition for us is celebrating Santa Lucia Day, which is something that comes from my family, which is a Swedish tradition. And so that's on the 13th. And I wish I had better visual aids already, but that's really a celebrating of the bringing of the light. And in families, the oldest girl will wake up everyone with rolls and hot coffee or hot chocolate. So towns will have big festivals.
Yeah. Do you have the crown that they wear too with the candles? Well, hopefully not with candles, but I know that was the original tradition.
Right. We have made one in the past, different sizes for Edith, but they always kind of fall apart. So usually, even before we had children, traditionally, I would bring my husband cakes or whatever, but just carrying candles. So that's kind of different. And it really makes, for us, things more meaningful and just like really, it's a whole season rather than just everything focusing on one day. Mm-hmm.
Well, and the two of you with little kids, didn't you find, and I mean, my kids you're older than the two of you, that sometimes Christmas was just overwhelming on Christmas
Mm-hmm.
morning. It was just like, toy shock,
Right.
And so I think your idea of spreading things out and enjoying all of those holidays and how the whole world at least celebrates the darkness and the light, and that there's it's just teaching them so much of what goes on other than in their own community. So, I see you, Edith. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Do you like being wearing the crown and delivering the goodies?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably a highlight. Our church actually hosts a Santa Lucia festival, so we get together with a lot of other Scandinavian Americans, and it's a lot of fun and it's really pretty. So it's a touch.
Do that at the church or just as small groups?
No, it's I'm so sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's an extra activity, but it's on the evening, and around the 13th. So that's really common in a lot of Scandinavian towns, they'll have like a small get together. So there's food to eat, and you have kids sing and kids dress up, and it's a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
But Susanna, would you like to show us something else that
Sure. I certainly will. I will tell you when I'm walking down there a little bit that I am not at my house. I am house sitting for somebody, but in my house, I change my decor every month on the first of the month.
Hmm.
I wanted to show you guys this though. It's so cute.
can you tell who
She
doesn't have any little children?
no going down the stairs. I don't know if you guys can see this. She has a little the manger and everything in a nativity scene. I just think that's cute coming down the stairs the way she has it. She also just did little things, which I thought were kind of cool. Like these shelves right here.
Hmm.
She just stuck some Christmas decor up on there and it looks so cute and so festive.
Mhm.
And I really, really like the little things that she did. She did a little on her entryway, just a little bit of greenery hanging. And this I love. I wish I could figure out how to turn the light on. I don't know if you guys can see it. It is like a clothesline and it's all Santa's clothes.
Oh,
And
how
I just
cute.
think that's so cute. So, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, she does things a little bit different than I do. Like I said, mine on the first of the month, I change everything in my home. So on the first of the month, the wreath on the door changes, the mat outside changes. I always have swag in my window, that changes. And then the different things that I have on my shelving units change. So I don't just decorate for Christmas in my household, but I don't have children. So I'm fortunate that I can have adult decorations that are glass and breakable, which is a benefit of not having the children. However, I don't get the joy and laughter of the children on Christmas Day. So I don't really do any traditions that I did growing up. The one, if I did anything, would be the nativity scene. We have a nativity scene that we made in my Girl Scout troop over toilet paper rolls and made different things. And my brother, one of the wise men, he put in a U of M jersey. So that's kind of fun. Other than that, I'm pretty basic because it's just me.
And the cats. So you
Yes,
do
and
have
the
to be a
cats.
little
Oh,
careful.
yeah. One thing I also think that was cute that Kristen did, it's downstairs though. In the bathroom, she literally just put lights across the mirror and then down and just tacked them in the corners. Little Christmas lights, just to kind of make it feel Christmassy and cheery, which I thought was a really cute idea too.
Yeah. How about you, Angie? I know you have a new tradition that you probably started this year with Lindy that involves having fun every day.
Yeah, so I heard about this last year and I just wasn't able to do it. And this year I was able to do like 24 books of Christmas. So I have like 24 little books for Lindy that I wrapped at the end of November. And I made the new parent rookie mistake of putting all the wrapped presents under the tree all at once because I wanted her to be able to choose. So she's playing with the TV. So she has not opened just one book a day. She's opened about 3 a day. So it's going to end before Christmas Eve, but that's okay. Because last year we were in the hospital, and so she didn't get to open that many presents, and we had to celebrate way late. So now she just gets to open however many books she wants every day. How can you say no to this cute face?
I'll give you a good hint, though. My cousin, who was older than I am, had grandchildren, and they had an Easter egg hunt in the backyard with the little plastic eggs. And Claire would run around with her basket and she would find the eggs and she'd have to bring them back to her dad. And the minute there were 4 or 5 in the basket, he would take them while she was off in corner A of the yard and he'd go hide them in corner B. So she just kept thinking that way we didn't have to have 500 eggs, but she probably picked up 200 eggs. It took her several hours, but they were the same eggs. So you could rewrap books and she'd probably be really happy because it's the joy of ripping the paper, you know.
Something that's been really fun for us, mostly, I mean, we incorporate it as part of my birthday because it's on the 1st, is we always start an advent calendar, and we've had a lot of different ones. But the most fun has been a Playmobil advent calendar where you get a new figure and you actually build a scene. We've done them with nativities too. This is my most recent find at an estate sale, which I think is the most amazing thing ever. Someone's grandma lovingly made it. So there's a different ornament in the felt pocket and you hang it on the tree. I especially love early other people's holiday decorations that someone's grandma's made. So I have a lot that is from, yeah, I have a lot that is from my own family, but I'm like, how could somebody part with that at an estate sale? The other really cool thing that we do, the Winchell neighborhood does this, but we've always put out luminaries on Christmas Eve. And it's something so easy to do. You can just use a paper bag or a white paper bag and you put some sand in the bottom and a candle. A lot of other countries do it, but it just is really welcoming and pretty. But if you're in town and you have time on Christmas Eve, you should drive through the Winchell neighborhood. It is amazing. It's so beautiful. Well, so, but this is a really cheap way with like 6 candles and 6 paper bags to really share light with people. And it makes a huge impact. Candlelight does wonders.
You can do that too and use the little battery tea lights. I grew up in the neighborhood and we were always afraid of fire, catching the bags catching on fire. So my mom used to put the little battery operated tea lights in them.
Those you can get for $1, 2 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. So it's an easy way.
The other things that work to make luminaries too are milk jugs. And your kids can take markers and draw patterns or snowflakes or, you know, whatever they want to on them. And at church, we used to always, I'm sure that people in the sanctuary thought it was a horrible idea, but the kids in Sunday school all loved it. We would take soup cans and you fill them with water and freeze them. And then you have them put on their coats and their boots and whatever. And we tell them all that before they come that week to dress to be outside. And you give them all hammer and nails and they can punch holes in the tin cans. And because it's full of ice, the can doesn't collapse. And then they can shake by then, usually by the time they've punched a pattern around, the ice has melted enough that they can shake it out and then they can put a candle in it and have a luminary that way too. But I'm sure it drove everybody in the sanctuary crazy as, you know, 50 kids were outside pounding on ice and tin cans, but it, you know, it kept them happy. It's fine. We used to do the 4 Sundays in December where they made new ornaments every year for the church Christmas tree. So, you know, or for at home, including the applesauce and cinnamon ornaments, Emily. If you haven't done those yet, those are really fun for the kids too. And they make your house smell really good. And you roll it out, it makes a dough, and you roll it out and cut it with the cookie cutters and let it dry.
There's been several years that I've attempted to do a completely biodegradable tree that we could just put outside and let the animals eat. You know, great intentions. I was going to do all paper and salt dough. It was going to be amazing, and cranberries and popcorn, but I didn't get that far. But then life got in the way. But we still had fun. I do see that there is a question about what kind of candles we use for our luminaries.
Okay.
So here it's just a tea light. This one is actually a really big one, which I was very excited to find at IKEA. This burns a lot longer, but you can just get a pack of tea lights from the dollar store and pop a bit in the bag. You can use sand, you can use kitty litter. There's a whole lot of other, you know, anything to weight the bag down. Rock. But just like with the pumpkin, it eventually goes out. I mean, you could put a taller candle in there, but then, as Susanna brought up, you run the risk of catching your bag on fire. Don't want that.
Lindy, are you going to read us your book? Can you read the book to us? Can we see it?
Did you see her bring a present up and open it? That's what boredom does sometimes. It's like, listen, I want to just play with my toys, Mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This book is called That's Not My Snowman.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's obviously very exciting because she's turning the pages and
Yes. Each page has like a different texture that they can touch.
so kind of like Pat the Bunny, but it's a snowman.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a scarf that's too fuzzy and mittens on the snowman. Can you touch the buttons? And the buttons. Yeah.
That was a good book, wasn't it? Was that a good book? You wouldn't wave to us earlier either, so I think she can't figure out how this TV works with 4 different people on it in 4 different places.
Lindy, can you
Edith.
say hi? Can you say hi? Hi. Hi.
What's your favorite thing to do at Christmas time?
decorate the tree. Yep. You said decorate the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like?
But I
do you-
think
do
we
you
might
like-
not be able to put any ornaments on the bottom half of the tree because Maya would just pull them down.
We actually haven't put up a tree yet because we're still trying to problem solve having a really strong mobile 14-month-old in our house. There's no gate stopping this child. So we thought with Edith, we put a fence around and just decorated the top half, but she's the type of child who's kind of a tree climber.
So those of you who are watching, if you have any ideas that might help Emily preserve her Christmas tree once it's up.
We thought about just getting a real a live tree in a pot and having it up on a table. So just it's a smaller scale and heavier, and then planting that outside.
Yeah.
Sean, my husband, really wanted to hang one from the ceiling, and we're like, why? Seems kind of silly. Or we could go to the Bylers and just top one of their trees and then have a tree that's like this big.
I decided to add myself to the discussion because this is something that we struggled with when we first had our first child. We went to the tree farm and we got the pokiest branches we could find. So I think we had a blue spruce tree. The only problem is one of the first years while we were decorating it, my wife poked herself in the eye and we ended up in the emergency room because she scratched her eye with the blue spruce tree. So, but the kid didn't touch the tree. So I'm not sure where the win was there.
I had not thought about a blue spruce, but you are right. Though that is the meanest of Christmas trees, but beautiful.
I had a blue spruce to keep my cat off of it, and it was perfect. Blue spruces solve all problems, but they're expensive and they're pokey.
My daughter has a friend who puts up a huge tree, and she lives in just a normal house. It's not a super high ceilings or anything else, just a normal ranch type of home. And they always buy one that's way too tall, and then they cut it off, and then they put the top of it on the outside of the house up on the roof. So it looks like the Christmas tree has gone through the house. So you could just put a tree up on top of your house or decorate one outside.
Well, that's not.
We need a Christmas tree.
We need a tree inside. Come on. But I do like the blue spruce idea. That's pretty clever.
Yep, that's a great idea, guys. What else do you guys do, Jason?
Normally we go and we cut a Christmas tree, but last year we didn't do that because of COVID and we didn't want to go be around other people. So last year we took our largest house plant and we decorated it. But we extended the lights above the house plant. So it went up all the way to the ceilings, but it was just a triangle of lights with a house plant at the bottom. This year, I think we're going to actually cut a tree out of the yard. They don't look great. They're not the perfect shape, but we're like, at least we'll have a tree. and that's great. But it's a little bit celebrating the shortest day of the year as well, not just for Christmas.
Right.
It's
We a couple times we've actually used trees that we were cutting down in our yard. We had an arborvitae one year, and it was like the most beautiful, perfect Dickensian like Christmas tree we've ever had, because it was all like swoopy and droopy.
We've been contemplating doing an arborvitae, but I think we chose to do something different. So I'm not sure what it will end up being. We'll have to wait and see.
You could make one like I made last year. Was it last year at work or 2 years ago? Probably now, because it wasn't the year that wasn't, when I put up the ladder and hung ornaments on it.
I remember one year we went back to visit my parents and they didn't have a tree up, and my brother decided that he wanted them to have a tree. So while they weren't looking, he cut a branch off of a tree, stuck it in the tree stand, and drilled holes in the sides and stuck little pine branches in. So it was basically like an artificial tree, but it was all natural. So that's another option too, if somebody's looking for another way to do a tree or a wreath kind of thing. I liked Emily's idea of the Advent calendar. That's something we've traditionally done. We have relatives that live in Germany, and so they would send us an Advent calendar each year. But now we have Aldi, and that's just as good. So, and Aldi has some really interesting ones. They do have some with chocolate, but they also have some with wine that is kind of an interesting idea. I also talked to a friend today who said they have an Advent wreath or an Advent calendar with socks. So each day they open up and they have a new pair of socks. That's a lot of socks.
But
there are never enough socks. Matching socks? Are you kidding? That's amazing. Here, I wanted to show you while I was in the kitchen. This is our Advent calendar right now. And there's a little thing that comes out of each door. It's been a lot of fun. That's from Mobile.
I remember getting those as a child. That was always fun. It was something you could do every day, Who puts up stockings? Anybody hang stockings?
I hang stockings. On my stocking, my mom made stockings for my brothers and myself, and so they're all handmade. And mine is funny because there wasn't enough. It was like room for like 5 letters, so it says SUSANNA, like stacked. And I do still hang them up every year. And I have a very special Hello Kitty stocking someone made me, and I hang that too.
Somebody's yellow kitty just walked by. Yeah, I have the stocking my mother made for me when I was little. So it goes up, even though I've made stockings for all of you guys, including me. But I always hang mine somewhere as a decoration more than for Santa.
I actually need you to make another stocking this year. I'll talk to you later about it.
Okay.
April commented to say that they have Advent calendars for dogs as well. So I wanted to make sure we knew that.
I didn't know they did. Oh my gosh.
Every dog needs an Advent calendar.
Right.
Do they make them for cats, April? Angie, what's your cat's name?
This is my roommate's cat who just got home, which is why he's acting crazy. But his name's Tony.
Oh, that's a good name for a cat. All of mine have people names too. So, and they're usually parading across the screen during the show. But
it doesn't help that I'm like sitting on the floor, so he can just walk across my keyboard.
Yeah.
A few years ago, when we were starting to think about starting traditions with our family, we started a tradition of Christmas Eve. We have fondue for dinner, which is something that isn't that difficult to do, but it's something that requires a little more planning than, just having, what was it, tater tots and
chicken
nuggets or something. But with the kids, we don't do like hot oil. We'll do melted cheese, and then for dessert we'll do melted chocolate. But it's just been a lot of fun. It's a huge mess to do with kids, but it's a lot of fun. The stuff gets everywhere, but it's been a fun tradition to start, and it's something we look forward to, not because of it having any significance with the holiday, but just because it's something special we do.
And you do it only then.
Correct.
It's not like, oh, now it's March 3rd. Let's do it again.
Correct.
Yeah.
Although March 3rd, one of our kids I could see having requesting it then, since it's the day after his birthday, but we haven't had that happen yet.
But,
Do you use cheese slices for your cheese sauce?
Oh, cheese slices. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Thanks, Emily.
Okay, yeah.
does it melt better or something?
No,
It's an inside joke.
it's really,
Oh, okay.
we actually eat our big like Christmas meal on Christmas Eve, and that is when our family has traditionally opened presents. And then we have our stockings on Christmas Day, which we've kind of done like half and half. We'll open presents with like my brother and sister and their kids and aunts and uncles on Christmas Eve, and then we'll open our like more family presents with our kids on Christmas morning. But in a lot of other countries, not just in like Northern Europe, but in Germany and all of Latin America, like Noche Buena, which is Christmas Eve in Spanish, that's like the big deal, and people stay up all night long, and you go to misa or you go to mass or you go to church, and Christmas Day is just kind of like the day after, but Christmas Eve is really your big celebration kind of feast day.
I remember in Central America, they did a lot of fireworks for Christmas Eve, which I think we need to start doing that in the U.S.
Yeah, and there's posadas, so they'll go from house to house in a lot of Latin American towns. So that's remembering the journey that Mary and Joseph went from inn to inn to inn to find places. But it's a time to have your door open. It's kind of like caroling, but it's all on Christmas Eve. But fireworks is a great idea. I agree.
Look,
I'm curious,
Cooper,
do any of you do wassailing?
there's another one.
We've done some. We carol sometimes, but we've never wassailed.
Okay. I didn't know that wassailing was a thing other than in a song until I moved to this area and met somebody that went wassailing every year, and I was like, really? People do that? I think there's an area in Parchment, I think, that does wassailing each year. Do any of you do gingerbread houses?
This year?
This is the only year we are doing them. They cause a lot of stress in our home.
Jean, do you want to say more about that?
Well, Community Homeworks just happens to be having a gingerbread house contest. And we all did them at a staff meeting. We all got in the same room and sat socially distant apart and decorated our prefabricated gingerbread houses, which I highly recommend over the ones you have to make stand upright. Jason did it at home, as did Catherine. And we had a great time as a bunch of adults. It's definitely, I would tell you, an adult project as much as a kid project. The two of the guys at work kept saying, you're copying my ideas and stealing things from each other, the decorations. They go, you have all the mini wheats, and they steal the box and, hide it. And it got quite out of control. And I'm sure with a little wine would have been total disaster, but it was pretty much a riotous good time without any help other than our gingerbread houses and all the decorations that Zach had rounded up for us. The kits do come with decorations, but he went out and found all sorts of fun other things for us to use. And we'd love to have you. The contest is still open through, is it Friday night or Saturday night, Jason? I can't remember, or maybe even Sunday night.
December 19th, actually. The deadline has been extended.
Yes, so that would be
till 11:59 on
Sunday
the
night.
19th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that Sunday night. So you can just take a picture, and if you go to our Facebook page or our website, it will tell you how to send the photo of your gingerbread house in. And
Recommend get fab started.
Huh?
Where would you recommend we get a pre-started kit?
If you talk really nice to me, I might be able to get you one.
I think I might get a hookup. Okay.
If you want a prefab one, there are two places. Well, one place I know for sure, and that's Meyer, back where the Wilton cake decorating things are.
Okay.
And it's already put together.
Okay.
So it looks kind of like a Cape Cod. It's, 4 sides and a slanted roof.
I've seen them at Trader Joe's, but I didn't see them this year. I
Yeah.
might have been late.
Jason bought ones at Aldi for his family, but you had to assemble them, correct? We can't hear you.
They had some already assembled, and they had some that were not already assembled. And so you could do either one.
If you don't want to be frustrated or have to wait, like if you've got little ones, probably older than Lindy, but I highly recommend the prefab houses. They the others, the ones that Kaylin, and you can watch directions on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, where Kaylin and her dad assembled them, but you have to wait like a good hour to 2 hours for the structure to become solid enough to then decorate. The other thing that you can do is decorate most of it and then assemble it. You can't glue on all the fancy things, but you can like draw your windows and fill in your windows, or, some of the stuff you want to just attach to the house. You can do before you assemble your house. You may not go in there.
I do not remember it taking that long. We used to do it every year with milk containers from school and then the graham crackers.
If you have the milk container, it's much easier because it gives you structure inside.
Probably is why it didn't take so long, huh?
Yeah.
Janine posted a hint that if you add egg whites to your frosting, it hardens better.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, make frosting? I can't just buy it.
You could probably do that too, Susanna. And April says that graham crackers work well.
Yep. We actually used to do them with when they were brownies, and we hot glued them together and then let the kids have the icing and the decorations. And then of course told them they couldn't eat it because we didn't want them eating hot glue, but hot glue will hold it all together also and dries much quicker than icing.
What does hot glue do to your insides, Jean? Do you know?
If I eat it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can chew it, so you'd probably spit it out before then.
I figured you would have tested this by now.
No, listen, these were brownies who, when we had them do the little invitation when they flew up, we wrote out, it was a really cute thing, and it was a trifold, and it unfolded, and they turned in from a brownie into a Girl Scout. And then in the middle, they were supposed to invite their family to come to the ceremony. So we wrote on a chalkboard what they were supposed to, like you were invited to, and the date and the time and where. And then at the bottom, we wrote your name. At least 2/3 of them wrote your name instead of writing their own name. So, hot glue would have been like, they would have just eaten it probably. So not the best idea, but the houses stayed together. And you can actually glue them to the milk cartons then too, and they stayed together a little better. We've lost Emily and Edith again. But Angie, what else? Do you have anything else you'd like to share tradition-wise, or things you've like failed gingerbread houses or?
So first, we were at the craft store yesterday because I wanted to get a few more paints for Lindy, and Joann's has gingerbread kits. And so I had seen Community Homeworks posting this, and I thought that I had missed the deadline, but I still was like, oh, building a gingerbread house might be really fun. So I did buy a little kit for a gingerbread dog house.
Oh, good.
Lindy loves dogs, so it has like a little dog figurine in it too, Cookie. So we're going to probably do that one day this week. And then the other thing that we did get to do last year that was like a tradition of between my mom and I is, what are you doing? Lindy's in the kitchen banging pots and pans.
Christmas tradition. She's a little drummer girl.
Exactly. Last year we did get to we always make different types of Christmas cookies, like chocolate chip, sugar, pecan balls, like the little peanut butter, like Buckeye balls. And maybe there's a couple of other ones that we do, but it's always like a couple day production of cookie baking because we hand out cookies to like my grandparents and my siblings. And then like my mom and I always keep some cookies, and aunts and uncles and stuff like that too. So that was something that I always helped my mom with growing up. And my mom came over to our house and helped bake those cookies last year before Lindy went into the hospital. So hopefully we get to do that again this year and keep the tradition going.
I had one of my best friends got divorced many years ago, and we had little kids about the same age, and she always ate Thanksgiving dinner with us, and we thought we needed to start new traditions because our family's dynamics had changed. And so we didn't eat turkey. We chose some nationality food, be it Mexican, Italian, whatever. And then the kids sat at the dining room table and decorated Christmas cookies. And you talk about sprinkles and icing and red hots. And it was, 4 kids that were like 4, 5, and 6. There were decorations from one end of my house to the other for, I think I found things until Easter. It's kind of like glitter. It never really goes away. It just moves. And so we were talking the other day, and I asked her, I said, I was talking about the gingerbread houses, and she goes, why didn't we ever make gingerbread houses? And I said, can you imagine compared to cookies, what the mess would have been? But my ladies group, that they don't know it yet, but they're going to decorate gingerbread houses yet this year, but we're not getting together until after the contest. So it will be too late for us to enter. So Susanna, what else did you do as a child? What good memories do you have? Or bad memories?
Are good. My parents are gone. They're all good memories now. So we used to, on Christmas Eve, we always went to midnight mass, and I always got to open my present from my godmother on Christmas Eve, which was a big thing. And it was always fun doing that, and then go to midnight mass and then come home and drive home. I grew up in Winchester. Drive through with the Luminaries was always really pretty. And then we always had clam chowder on Christmas Eve for why, I don't know. Just a weird thing we did one year and it stuck. So that was pretty much it. We didn't do a ton of stuff for Christmas. We did more like on Sundays, lighting the light and reading the passage was we were doing the Advent, not the Advent, but the wreath, the quarter lights and the light in the center. You'd think I could remember that. That was more of our big family thing on Sunday nights during the whole.
Was your clam chowder from a can or from scratch?
It was from scratch. And I actually remember when I that I got to actually get, and I neglected to read where it said to peel the potatoes. So that year we had a special rendition with peel on potatoes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's from the Junior League cookbook, and it's what we cook every year for Christmas Eve. I still do it.
Well, and it must be some tradition of some sort because Ken's family used to do it too.
Really?
Yeah. And
who knows?
Maybe
it's a weird people tradition.
Oh, you've met him, huh?
Another beautiful place if people are looking besides Christmas Card Lane, which I'm about, Parkview Hills does a huge ton of lights, and it's fun to drive through there and just drive back through the houses back there too. If you're looking for somewhere pretty to take the kids to drive to look at pretty lights, that's free.
Well, I was telling Jason my Christmas Card Lane story this morning. I'm spending a lot of time on Christmas Card Lane right now, and Sunday became the day that we thought we should put the card out in the yard. We had just gotten back into town and said, it's supposed to be relatively warm. So he goes, well, come on, we're going to go out and do it. Well, needless to say, I didn't know they were on full, very old sheets of plywood, which weigh, 3,000 pounds or something. At least it felt like my end did. So you stumble through the ground and you get it out to where it needs to go. And then you have to pound in stakes, and then you have to wire the card to the stakes. And then you have to go back in the garage and get the extension cords and the light that lights up the card. And by then it's snowing and raining, and we were soaked to the skin. Finally got the thing up and, shook it to make sure it was okay. Jason said we should have taped the whole thing and it could have been the comedy act tonight. You have to get the stepladder out because you have to plug the cord you put in one of the sockets that has a plug. So you have to take the lid off the little porch light and not lose the screws down in the snow and the rain and the ground cover. And it was just like, but we got it up. And then he came home. He left to go on an errand Monday morning, and the card had fallen over from the strong winds on Sunday night and Monday morning. So he went to Lowe's to buy more stakes, figuring maybe that would help, and he was going to come home and fix it. And some neighbor had come and fixed it, but he still put in more stakes and more guy wires. So now if anybody cuts through the yard, they're going to fall on their faces because there's so many wires around. So I can hardly wait to take it down.
But it was very memorable to you.
Yes.
You won't forget that putting up that card.
Nope. It's just one of more of our many adventures this year. So
right.
Just truly making Thanksgiving, Christmas, probably not New Year's Eve, but a blending of our families. We had some of his family that was here from out of town for sad reasons, but they were here and they came, and his kids, my kid, it was truly a melding of just of families, like it should be at holidays.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jean, I think we should probably wrap up here, unless we have other things that our guests would like to contribute.
Anything else, Angie?
She says no.
Well, I'm so glad that somebody figured out blue spruces so that we can all now have prickly Christmas trees, and Emily's might stay upright. And
wear safety glasses to decorate the tree.
Blue spruce, brilliant.
And
with safety glasses.
Wear your PPE so you don't get injured.
I do think we are going to go the route of the tree on a side table rather than, normally we do a floor to ceiling, but I think just creating one more barrier might help.
Electric fence.
Shock collar.
No. We shouldn't go there.
The thought did cross my mind of a hot wire. I'll be honest. But that's a good tip.
You have the spouse that would be able to do that for you. So
yeah, but the state of Michigan isn't really into that so much.
Yeah. When they come to make sure your house is childproof for Christmas, they probably didn't think that was a requirement.
Right. And now this is, of course, live. Thanks.
Just don't tell your worker. It'll be okay.
No, those are really great tips.
Well, thank you guys for letting us in your homes and giving us your good ideas. And, I learned quite a few things that would be fun. I wish I had a little one that I could do the books of Christmas with. I think that would be a great plan. And though I have one more funny story, then we'll go. We were in Maryland at his daughter's house, and they have a 7-year-old who is struggling with reading. She doesn't think she can read. So we exchanged gifts with my family in Florida, and we draw names. So I wrote down the Michigan people and the Florida people, and she had the Michigan people, and she had to pick one and then read their name. And then I would tell her who it was because she doesn't know these people for any reason. So she read his name, And she goes, who is this? And I said, well, that's your Pop Pop. And she goes, Mom, did you know Pop Pop has a name? I thought we were all going to lose it because nobody calls him his name. They call him Grandpa or Pop Pop or Dad. And she had no idea he had a real name like she has a real name. And his daughter says she's still talking about it, that, what was Pop Pop's real name again? Does Grandma have a real name too? Yes. So it was quite a revelation for a 7-year-old that her grandpa had a real name. But it gave us a good laugh. So again, Angie and Lindy, thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you, Lindy. I knew you before you were born. It's the last time I saw your mommy at class, but she's been busy. And Emily, it's always great to see you. We miss seeing you. Well, I don't see you around. We don't see anybody around anymore at work because a lot of us were there today. So it was kind of nice. And Susanna, I will talk to you when this is over. Give me a call and tell me what else you need or want or whatever. And I'm sure we can figure it out. I haven't fixed your pants yet either. So
Thank you.
And Jason, I will talk to you later this week. And for those of you who are watching, next week, we're going to...
Drum roll, please.
We're going to make little gnomes.
I have one of those.
Crafting with Jean, a limited edition gnome.
Wow.
Why did we get crafting with Jean and not crafting with Susanna?
Well, you can come next week. It's not until next Tuesday. You can come help me.
I might do that.
It was Jean's idea, so that's why it's crafting with Jean.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be our last class before Christmas, but it's not. So
we added
one the next week because Jason thought we should. So anyway, but for those of you who helped participate tonight, we do have a little kit with everything you need to make this gnome.
Whoa.
By Friday, I hope to have them bagged up and you can come in and pick one up for free from Community Home. So hopefully you guys will, and you can make your own gnome. It's something truly that Edith could do. So
Edith is very excited. We actually have a gnome that comes out. We don't have any sort of elf business. I don't know how people can keep up with that. I really don't.
There's some busy elves out there.
There's some busy elves. So we'll be excited to expand our Tomty gnome family.
Yes. Well, and if you have a gnome, for anyone watching, go to Pinterest and put in elf on the shelf and they'll give you all sorts of hints how to keep your elf happy. So again, thank you guys. Or gnome. Yes, if you want to do gnome on the shelf. He's kind of tall for a shelf, but he can be gnome on the table. But so hopefully you guys will stop in and get a gnome kit. And thank you again for sharing your tips and ideas this evening. And we'll say goodbye and join us next Tuesday at 6:00. And we're going to make that gnome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.